Hi, Derek Gehl here, founder of the Ignited Academy, and in this tutorial, I'm going to share with you 11 conversion optimization strategies for your landing pages to turn more clicks into leads and buyers. Now, before we dive into this, I want to clarify a little bit of the landing page lingo that you're going to hear me use, and you'll hear all sorts of marketers use when we're talking about landing pages. And the reason I want to clear this up is because before I get into the actual strategies that I'm going to share with you here today, I want to make sure you understand what the heck I'm talking about when I use these terms. So, when you build a website, you have a homepage. Now, your homepage is kind of like the front door of your website, right? Lots of people come to your website and they'll start on your homepage. But the fact is when you build a website, you're going to have numerous different pages, and not everybody who comes to your website is going to enter your website through the homepage. They're going to enter the website through any number of pages on your website as an entry point. Now, any single page on your website that somebody enters on, the first page they see when they come to your website is a landing page. Now, there's a couple segments of the landing page, though, that I want to talk about. Now, the first piece of your landing page, and arguably the most important part of your website, is the first fold of your landing page. Now, what is first fold? When I say first fold, what I mean is this. When somebody comes to your web page loads on their screen, whether that's on a phone or a tablet or on a PC, there's a piece of the page that loads up that they can see right away before they ever begin scrolling. Now, the piece of the web page that someone sees before they begin scrolling is called the first fold. And arguably, this is the most important piece of the website because this is what people first see and make the decision as to whether or not they're interested, as to whether or not they should scroll more and see what this whole website's about. And the reason this is so important is because if you get this wrong, nobody's going to scroll down to see what else is there. And so you could have the best products, the best prices, the best everything down below, but they're never going to know because they never took the time to explore. So this is where you make your first impression, and this is why it is so dang important you get this right. Now, the first fold, okay, that's what they see before they begin scrolling. But once they begin scrolling down your landing page, that's when they get to below the fold. So when you hear us marketers and web guys talking about the landing page, that's the first page someone lands on. And then when we talk about first fold, that's the first part of the page they see before they begin scrolling. And below the fold is everything they see once they begin scrolling. So there you go, crash course in landing page lingo. Now it's time to dive in and talk about some of these conversion optimization strategies. Now, strategy number one, we're going to start with the basics, but probably one of the most messed up, biggest mistakes I see all the time. And that is this. When you create a landing page, if you want to get maximum results, you need to keep it simple. What does that mean? That means you need to have as few offers as possible. In fact, if you can have a landing page that focuses on one single offer, one goal, that's probably going to get you the highest result. Now, I get it. If you're an e-com and you have multiple offers, this doesn't always apply. But even in e-com, if you've got numerous different product categories, all these different things, you need to ask yourself, what is my goal? How do I make the decision-making process when somebody lands on a landing page as easy as possible? How do I make the path to them reaching a goal, whether that's being opt-in or purchasing, as simple as possible? And again, one of the fastest ways to do this is to eliminate options. You know, I always liken it to whenever I've gone to IHOP, not a big IHOP, or even like a Denny's, you know, we've all been there. You open this menu and you'll see that there are pages and pages. There are like hundreds of options. And you're like, I don't know, there's too many options. Well, the same thing happens when somebody comes to a website and you got too many options. If you give people too many options, in many cases, they're not gonna take any of those options. So keep it focused. One offer, one call to action, or as few as possible. And then once you've narrowed it down, Look at your landing page. When you're done this tutorial, go look at your landing page and ask yourself, are there distractions that don't need to be there? Am I linking off to other things from my landing pages that might actually be a distraction? In fact, you'll see lots of landing pages that'll be subpages on a website. Big websites that have blogs and all this stuff, but the landing pages where they're driving their traffic to don't even have a navigation bar. It's a headline, it's going to have some ad copy, it's going to have a call to action. Maybe at the bottom they're going to have a little contact, privacy policy, stuff like that. But all the navigation that exists on their blogs and stuff like that is gone. Why? Because you want people to focus. So, go look at your landing pages. What kind of distraction can you remove? How can you focus your offers to make sure you're getting as many people to take that offer as possible, rather than clicking off to all these random things that are not supporting your business goals? Which brings us to number 2. Now, when I talked about the first fold of your website, there's one element in the first fold that's more important than any other element in the first fold for convincing people to stay and read more, to engage with your website. And that is the headline. Now, the headline on your landing page should be front and center. When somebody lands on a landing page, the very first thing that their eyeballs should be just magnetically drawn to is the headline. And your headline has one goal and one purpose, and that is to answer the question, WIIFM, what's in it for me? When people are surfing the internet, they're landing on your website because they're looking for something. And you need to communicate in as few words as possible that they're going to find what they're looking for here. You need to write a compelling, benefit-driven headline that tells people in as few words as possible, here's what you're going to get, here's how your life is going to improve, here's the problem we're going to solve for you if you stay on this landing page, if you read more. That is what hooks people. And so when I said the first fold is the most important part of your landing page, the headline is the most important part of your first fold, which in turn means, honestly, the headline's probably the most important part of your website, because if you get this wrong, again, you can have the best price, the best product, the best guarantee, the best ad copy, you name it, but none of it matters because people don't stick around long enough to actually read about it. So, go back and ask yourself, do I have a good headline? If you've only ever written one headline and that headline's been the headline that stayed there since you started your website, start testing new headlines. Some of the fastest results I've ever seen increasing my results on landing pages is by simply writing a better headline, getting more people to stick, more people to read. So if there's anything that you're going to test right away, test a new headline. And you can start getting better results potentially immediately. All right, that brings us to strategy number 3. The color palette. Colors. Look, here's the problem the mistake I see all the time is people take and they get their ad copy and everything ready for their landing page and they give it to their designer. And here's the thing, designers, they like to use complementary colors. And they make the websites and the landing pages look really pretty, really nice. But pretty and nice does not always mean effective, because what happens is they end up using complementary colors that actually hide the message. Rather than making the key points, the headlines, the calls to action stand out loud, they kind of blend it in. So, if you want your landing page to be as effective as possible, you need to use complementary but contrasting color palettes. Now, with the main text, dark text, light background. Can't beat it. What's the best? Black on white. For sure. For your main body, if you have a lot of text, a longer sales piece, black on white, can't beat it. But if you're going to use color on color, make sure it contrasts. Probably one of my biggest pet peeves is when I come to a website and you'll see they have, a light purple background and then darker purple text. It's like, come on, that's the same color. It's not contrasting. And what happens is it's hard for the eye to read because it doesn't contrast as well. And it's not that we can't read it, but it slows down our reading. And when you slow down someone's reading, you slow down your comprehension, and you know what happens? They get bored. And when they get bored, what do? They leave. So get your colors right. Now, when it comes to your call to action, make sure that you have bright contrasting colors and reserve a bright contrasting color for your call to action. So if I had a website that was primarily, had a lot of red color on it, I probably wouldn't use a red call to action. But if I was primarily, blues and grays and stuff like that, maybe I would use red just for my call to action. Why? Because it would stand out like a sore thumb, because it's so different and it would draw people's eyes. That's what you want to do with your call to action. Which brings us to strategy number 4, and that is keeping your call to action A, simple, B, obvious. Your call to action should never be multiple steps. Go here, do this, 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 and this. No, it should be click here to sign up, click here to order, click here to register. Now, one of my rules is when I'm writing my calls to action, creating my buttons, I try and avoid words like buy or purchase, because that has the feeling of, hey, I'm trying to get money from people. I would rather use more gentle, positive words like join now, download today, register now, sign up, get yours, add to cart, rather than buy or purchase. Those are words that I kind of avoid. Now, the other rule, which we just talked about in the color palettes, is to use big, bright, bold buttons, okay? When you're trying to grab people's attention, you want to make it just loud and in their face so you cannot miss it. And I can tell you right now, the designers, they're going to cringe because they're not going to necessarily like that. But you want it to really stand out. And I'll tell you, I've tested, it's hard to beat a bright red button. Don't know what it is about red, but I've tested red against yellow, red against blues, red against purples. And when you throw a red button in, it gets more clicks. I've even seen in screen recordings where there's been a bright red graphic and you just see people click on it. It's something about the red. People just get drawn to it and they click on it. So what does that tell us? That tells us our buttons probably should be red. Which now brings us to strategy number 5 of 11, and that is social proof. When people come to a website and they don't know you, they don't typically want to be feeling like they're the first person to invest in you. And the best way to take away that uncertainty, and one of the most powerful selling tools you have to convince people to trust you, isn't you telling people to trust you. Rather, it's showing examples of other people who have already put their trust in you. Now, when we say social proof, a lot of people think testimonials, but there's so many different ways that you can display social proof on your landing pages. Of course, you can use written and video testimonials from past customers who have benefited from your offerings, and those are super powerful. I would highly recommend those. But there's other ways to use social proof on your landing pages. For example, displaying third-party ratings and reviews. For example, if you have great Google reviews, take a screen cap and say, 4.5 stars on Google. If you're on Amazon, say, 5 stars or 4.5 stars, over 1,000 reviews on Amazon. Screen cap that. Put that in your marketing on your landing pages to show people that you've been reviewed. Trustpilot is a company that has built their entire company around these reviews. And when you use Trustpilot and people review you there, you can insert their widget to show real-time reviews that you've had on Trustpilot. And then on top of those review things, there's now tools like useproof.com, which is like real-time social proof. And what this does, as people are buying your product or they're surfing through your landing pages, there's a little live pop-up that pops up on the bottom of the screen and says, so-and-so from California purchased 10 minutes ago. So-and-so from Vancouver, Canada purchased 5 minutes ago. So-and-so from wherever purchased, 2 hours ago. And all that is constant social proof saying to people, hey, don't worry, other people have invested here as well. So, social proof is not just purely testimonials. It's ratings, it's reviews, it's screen caps of comments people have made on other social media platforms turned into images on that website. It's widgets showing people that there's other people buying your product. These are all powerful tools to support the sales message on your landing pages. Which now brings us to strategy number 6. Make it scannable. Now, this is an old direct response ad copy strategy. And that is to use rich text formatting like bold or italics or even highlighting to draw out key messages and benefits throughout your landing page. So if you have 3 paragraphs of text on there, for example, you would have that regular text, and then you'd use this rich text formatting, bolding, highlighting, italics. I would avoid underlines because people might think that's a hyperlink, but to actually draw out key benefits and messages. And the reason why is this. When people read web pages, it's been studied, okay? And they've done eye tracking tests and watch how people interact with landing pages. And what happens is this. People hit the landing page, the first fold loads up. And they quickly scan the first fold. And if you have a good headline that captures their attention and convinces them to stay, most people won't actually just start reading and read from top to bottom. Instead, they're going to grab that little scroll bar and they're going to scroll down and they're going to be looking for other indicators that, yeah, this is what I want. So the headline hooks them, but now they're scanning. And so you want to use bolding, italics, subheadlines, stuff like that to pull out key messages and benefits that support the headline. So as they're scanning, it's convincing them that yes, this is something they're really interested in. And something you'll notice, a lot of people will scan and immediately take action. But what the majority of people will end up doing is they read the headline, they scan the page, and if all the elements that stood out through bolding, italics, subheadlines grab their attention, now they're going to scroll back up and they're going to read it in more detail. So if you put all this great ad copy down, but none of it's highlighted or bolded, when they're scanning, they scan over all of it and they miss those key benefits. So make sure it's scannable, meaning that the key benefits and bullets are all standing out, even if they don't read it word for word. All right, that brings us to strategy number 7, credibility. Do anything you can on your landing page to enhance and increase your credibility. This means displaying any relevant certificates, associations, awards, anything on your landing page that's going to build your credibility. Security, safe shopping seals. There's tons of them out there that you can use on your website to show people, hey, I'm legitimate. My website's secure. You can trust me. Even if they're not examining them, they're seeing them out of their peripheral vision as they're scanning, and subconsciously that is enhancing and building the credibility. If you've ever been interviewed or featured in any kind of media on any website that has authority, display that in the as seen on, and then include logos of the places you've been featured, published, as seen on. Why? Because that enhances and builds credibility. Remember, when people come to your website for the very first time, they probably don't know you. And if they don't know you, you need to build trust, you need to build authority, you need to build credibility on top of the message that is the bulk of the page, right? So how do we do that? We do that with all of these other elements that we can add. And you see this used all the time. If you go to my website, you will see that you'll see as seen on, as seen in, because I've been published and featured in many different places. And I leverage those high authority, well-known brands to help build my credibility with people who may not know me. And that's a very powerful strategy. Which brings us to strategy number 8. On your landing page, you need to give people a reason why they need to take action. You need to create scarcity. You need to create urgency. If you don't tell people why they need to buy today, register now, subscribe today, they'll think, hey, no worries, this looks great, I'll come back later. But they won't. If 10 people say to you, I love it, I'm going to be back, 9 of them will never come back. It's just the nature of sales. It's the nature of marketing online. It's not that they don't want your product, they do, but once they've left, they're not coming back, or very few will. And the way around this is to create scarcity and urgency, whether that's creating a limited time offer, limited time bonuses, limited quantity offers. However that is, you need to give people a reason why they need to act now. And then you need to reinforce that. And the more you can reinforce it, the better the result you're going to get, whether that's with countdown timers, with dates, whatever that is. You need to create urgency. The more urgency you create, the better the result you're going to get. Full stop. If there's no urgency on your landing page right now, on your key offers, if there's no scarcity, go create it. Your results will go up. Full stop. Which now brings us to strategy number 9, speed. Speed. Speed is critical. And the most important piece of your landing page that has to be fast is the first fold. The fact is the first fold on your landing page has to load in a few seconds or less. Why? Because people have no patience. I mean, think about it now. When you go to a web page and the little thing's just sitting there spinning, what do? You hit back, you're like, refresh, it's not working, must be down, and you leave. Your landing pages have to be super optimized. They have to load quickly. And the biggest culprit for slow loading landing pages these days is too many graphics. And that's why you'll see the most effective landing pages are typically very Spartan, very sparse of graphics. They don't have any large images. And the images they do have are super compressed and super well optimized. If you're going to have videos on your landing page, avoid preloading those. Have the landing page load, and then you can have a placeholder load, but when they hit play, that's when the video loads. Because big loading videos in the background can absolutely destroy your conversion because people on slow connections are just sitting there waiting for a video to load. Don't do that. One of the best ways to do this is to use what are called lazy load plugins. So if you go to Google and you're using some WordPress, for example, search lazy load plugins, and you'll find there's plugins that will actually fix your web page so certain assets won't load until they're actually needed. This will dramatically speed up your web page. And I should go without saying, if you're already not using a content delivery network, a CDN, if you're not using caching, stuff like that, you need to use all of that stuff to rapidly speed up your website. Because if it is slow loading, if your landing page is taking 5 seconds before people can actually see what the web page is about, you are losing people. Full stop. No question. Which now brings us to strategy number 10, remove the risk. Remove the risk. When you have any kind of offer that requires people to invest their money, and these are people that don't know you and haven't done business with you, and it's a first purchase, and they don't know what the quality of your product is like, you have to use guarantees, money back guarantees to take away that risk. And I know lots of people say, well, but won't that drive up refunds? Yeah, absolutely. If you have a guarantee, chances are you're eventually going to get some refunds. And that's okay, because the fact of the matter is having a great money back guarantee is going to always outweigh potential refunds. The gains you get from having a guarantee will dwarf the potential refunds that you get in the future. So, no question, remove the risk. Which brings us to our final and last strategy. Strategy number 11, contact information. Think about it. When somebody lands on a landing page on your website and they don't know you, we've already talked about all these different elements that you can use to build trust and credibility, but the fact of the matter is if people don't feel like there's somebody behind that website that they can reach out to, if they have questions, if they have a problem, they're not going to purchase. But we live in a time and a place where lots of people get into online business because they don't want to talk to people, or they think because it's an online business, they don't have to talk to people. Now, I know no matter how many times I say it, some people are never going to have a phone number on their website. Heck, there's certain websites I don't have phone numbers on. Why? Because I don't have anybody to answer that phone. But all my big businesses, I have a phone number, and I have people that'll answer that phone. And here's the reality. Even if you don't have somebody to answer the phone, that's okay, because you can have a phone number that simply goes to a voicemail that says, hey, you've reached, XYZ business. If you have a question, please leave a message and we'll call you back promptly. If you'd like to, you can also email us at @blah, and they can leave a message and you can call them back at your own time and convenience. But the fact is the more ways people can contact you, the more trust you're going to create. And it's not that everybody's going to contact you, but just by having that there, it's going to build the trust and confidence that people need to invest in your business. So, in order, phone numbers build the most trust. But live chat is a very close second. Live chat is a fantastic way to interact with people on your website without having to have somebody staffing a phone number. And then finally, email. Have an email, obviously, that people can reach out to you. But the more options people have to contact you, the more trust that is going to build. So there you go, 11 conversion optimization strategies for your landing pages. If you're not doing all of these, even if you're doing 10 out of 11, take the one you're not and do it, and you're going to start to see your results go up. But write all of these down. 11 things, and then go look at your landing page and check off all the ones you have. What's your score? Did you get an 11 out of 11? If you did, great. If you got an 11 out of 11 and you're still not getting good results, now you need to go back and ask yourself, do I have the right offer? Is my offer good? Or am I driving the wrong traffic to this landing page and I need to adjust my traffic strategy? If you've only got a few of these, you've got a lot of room to improve, and I guarantee you, if you start implementing these and testing these strategies, you're going to see the results increase. But I should warn you, don't make the mistake of going and changing 10 things at once on your landing page. If you already have a landing page that has a track record of results, if you go change 5 things right now, if your sales go up or your sales go down, or your results go up or your results go down, you're not actually ever going to know why. So, take one thing, change it, monitor the results. If they go up, fantastic. If they go down, revert back to what you had, and then make the next change. And this is how you systematically, step by step, improve your landing page. If you want, you can get into A/B split testing, and there's lots of tools. Google creates them. There's ones like Optimizely, stuff like that can help you do split testing. But the simplest way to get started is take and make one change and monitor the results. If they go up, you've got a winner. Keep it, make the next change. So now I hope you have a few ideas that'll hopefully help you improve the conversion rates of your landing pages. And if you like what you heard here, if you learned something, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. If you have any questions, go ahead, post them in the comment section below. Happy to answer those. And take a minute and visit my YouTube channel where you'll find other very, very useful videos like this to help you improve and grow your online business. This is Derek Gehl, founder of the Ignited Academy, signing off.